Welcome back to our attendees. Our next speaker, Mr. Hassan Abdul Ali, GM, Service Delivery and PMO at the Oman Data Park, speaking on today's topic, Cloud Transformation Roadmap, a roadmap for the healthcare. Over to you, Mr. Hassan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Oman Data Park Healthcare Virtual Conference for Cloud Transformation Roadmap and AI Application Platforms. Today's session, I would like to cover 4 topics. One is Oman Data Park Cloud Models, what Oman Data Park has been providing for all the domains, and particularly for the healthcare. Then I'll take next step toward the HPC and how machine learning and deep learning and AI is adding value to the healthcare section, and AI applications for the healthcare particularly, and use cases. Now, ODP Cloud Model has been highlighted by our CEO and my colleague, Mr. Saeed. We have 3 data centers across Oman. Actually, in these 3 data centers, you can spread out multiple type of applications, and you can use, for example, your primary data center here. You can DR here. You can put primary here, DR here. You can put primary here, DR. There is choice is yours. So you can spread your workload across these 3 data centers across Oman. Now, with that have been said, the beauty of this is a completely in fiber connection, providing high latency and 24/7 with the full 3 data center tier certified across Sultanate of Oman. We have 600 customers on board. There are banks, government, oil and gas, telecom, and healthcare, of course. Now, what is cloud? Actually, cloud is a network of a network. It's a huge network which consists of million, perhaps it's not billion, of computers and storage devices and networking to automate the interconnectivity and portability across these applications and the technologies. So it's very important here to understand the cloud is globally present, okay? So we should know that when I'm putting my workload in the cloud, it's completely scalable. It's completely scalable. So I can, for example, today I put a workload of 20 VMs, I can go to 200, I can even increase to 2000, or I can decrease. So you can go up and down. It's scalable. Second, it is globally present. That's though we are in Oman, but any applications which is being put on Oman Data Park clouds, it can be consumed across the world, can be used from anywhere in the world because it's using internet. So your application can be consumed from Oman and outside Oman, anywhere. And it's a robust network that there's no downtime has happened so far over the internet, so using the same technology. And it's fully automated from all the layers, from the hardware, from the network, from the application, from the data center facilities, and storages, as I said to you, it can be up and down based on your consumption. Likewise, the computer and memory. Now, these slides are very important. I would like your full attentions here. How I can go to the cloud, how I can consume the cloud. Cloud comes into different layers. For example, if you look currently on your prem, you have all these technologies in place. If you go finally to run the application, your focus is your applications as well as your data. So you are focusing on these 2 mainly. Why? Because you are building all these data center facilities, as you can see here, from the chiller, HVAC, generator, UPX, access control, fire and suppression, and many of these data center facilities in order to stage the server, network, and storage. And finally, to put the platforms for virtualization, and then you go for applications. So you're building all of these is a capitalization cost and operating cost. So what Oman Data Park is facilitating here, we can tell you, you can cut off this, you can come to Oman Data Park as a data center facilities. So here, you've been cutting off all the capitalization, even the operating cost is much less. I'll give you the figure how far we have noticed from our customers, the operating cost is less. Then the second layer, this is called data center as a service. Then you can go to the next layer. You can say, I don't want to buy servers, I don't want to buy network, I don't want storages, neither the virtualization. Can you, Oman Data Park, facilitate this on demand? Yes, we can do. So here you come. This is completely Oman Data Park is facilitating for you, and it's on demand. You request it, in a few hours, your complete workload is ready. And here you can utilize the Oman Data Park facilities and just concern about your application data and platform. Here is the licenses, of course. So you can say to Oman Data Park, okay, no, I don't want infrastructure service. I want platform as a service. I want Windows licenses, Linux, whatever other operating system licenses. Can you offer me here as a cloud model? Yes, till this layer we can offer you. The more you go green, the cheaper is going to come for you. And Agile also is there to be considered. Now, lastly, we're also offering you applications as a service. So for example, if I want to run my mailing environment and I have 20, 30, 100, 200 users, and I don't want to bring the Microsoft Exchange and domain and servers and network, come to Oman Data Park and we'll facilitate for you completely the entire what's called workload, and we'll facilitate for you the complete application. And here you can just come and use your mailing environment. So the more you go green, the more benefits. Now let's see what is the percentage showing us here of the cost cutting. Our record shows 30% cost cut when you come on data center as a service. The more you go on infrastructure, it is 35 to 40% cost cut. I'm talking about operating aside of the capitalization. You don't capitalize that here at all. And 45% is going to go if you come platform as a service. And above 50% comes if you come on application as a service. So what we are saying here, please keep all the cloud infrastructure with ODP. We'll serve you 24/7 in around the clock in completely scalable mode. And you just need to focus and only focus about your data and your application. So here, if you try to focus on this part and you bring a lot of value added from the operation perspective, you have a lot of data around, especially the healthcare information. It's been around a lot within the Sultanate, but consuming this is effectively is required in HPC environment. Even that we have brought it on board. Now, as I said, keep this infrastructure scalability and scale and technology changes. This is completely with Oman Data Park. And we take the complete IaaS and PaaS and SaaS also for you if you need. And you focus only on big data and AI. Now, the more you focus on this, the more operations is going to be tight and efficient from your end. Of course, here is on demand. That's very important to consider because you need to scale up and down up to your needs. Now, with these slides, it's very important is to focus what services Oman Data Park is offering. I said in my previous slides, IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, but most important is this one, managed services. We are offering a lot of managed services from different type and different sectors. And we can manage your infrastructure. If you are coming to Oman Data Park as a colo and you would like us to manage it, we do that. If you come, we are offering platforms managed services. We're offering application managed services. Backup is very important. We offer a lot of backup service to our customer. A lot of them are oil and gas and banking is using. We have patch management. We take care of your security and patch control of the operating system and vulnerabilities, which has been found across the time. And we control all the patching controls and security. We do 24/7 monitoring, which is via our network and security operations. We have 6 customers on board. So you can enjoy from the managed services. The value really comes with the ODP from managed services, aside of IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, but mainly managed because we can operate on your behind. Now here, we're offering a lot of software as a service application types model. We're offering SAP B1, we're offering database as a service, we're offering exchange as a service. This is a list of our applications we are offering on board. For example, you can enjoy with eSigns also. eSign, this is a new model we have brought it here. As you can see, This is a new application which you can consume. We for example, helped a lot of healthcare. I do remember last year we had one of the big hospital in Oman, where doctor was locked down at homes and they were trying to use a Shifa application. So we facilitate to the doctor that he can interconnect his home PC to the hospital and look the Shifa records, as well as collaborating with the patient on one-to-one online. So this is one also all added value features we have provided last year, particularly for the healthcare. Now, with this slide, as I said, we are not just stopped to the end of infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. We introduced new layer here. It's a microservices and HPC, where here is the AI applications can be benefits. It's already onboarded, and hopefully within 1.5 months should be up and running. So here you can, all these layers from here to the top, Oman Data Park have the platforms and ready for you to consume it. By the way, this technology which is coming as a microservices service is very scalable, and it containerized in Docker technologies around also. So you can consume this in different way. You can put it in Kubernetes as a service, you can put it container as a service, and you can put it as well as Docker as a service. All these three platforms is being supported by Oman Data Park. And by the way, it's fully secured. Now, this slide is also very important. You see, all the legacy applications being transformed now. It's been happening, a lot of transformation, which is coming into cloud. All the monolithic application and legacy application is completely revamped now into a cloud code and cloud runtime and cloud foundation framework. So these three are changing the entire revolution of the software industry. And of course, AI is one part of it. AI framework 3.0, which is showing the open source technologies coming fastly into a manner of as an application model and ecosystems. So here, even this technology is available with Oman Data Park, and you can consume it. Now, with that have been said, these two, which is onboarded, and here that smart analytical and AI and machine learning environment, which is going to host a lot of big data within Oman Data Park infrastructure, and then you can use a lot of smart algorithm to process your data. So with this transformation, you have to find for your space, and you have to think about how I can consume this technology to the favor of my patient and to efficiency of my operations of the healthcare. Now, why HPC? Why high performance computing, which is ultimately a question comes on board. Actually, HPC comes because of many factors. One of them is the networking revolution, which is happening in the 4G and 5G. This is generating a lot of data across the world, okay? And this data has been somehow been hosted, and this data has been fed somewhere. So the data is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Therefore, big data has been already growing day after day. The IoT is the Internet of Things, which is the end devices, which is running in semi-rare environment, such as online cameras, for example, and generating a lot of information and feeding to the back-end systems. And after that, what you're supposed to do with this data? I'll give you some example of this. Edge computing and machine learning, deep learning, and AI, all of these three technologies, these three mainly came on board because of the big data. These technologies being generated because of the big data. Data is growing very fast. Aside of 3D imaging, which is used for gaming, and CAD environment, which is mainly for 3D CAD design. Now, for you to consider this data, how I have to process this data. If you process this data in normal CPU environment, of course, it's going to take ages. So therefore, the technology has been it's been advanced in order to bring GPU, which is graphical processing unit, and ultimately TPU, which is TensorFlow processing unit. So by this set of data, which is came on board, the mainly GPU and TPU has giving a far advance of the CPU from the processing perspective. So therefore, the big data is the main cause of bringing HPC. Now, as I said, there was a framework of AI 3.0, which was focusing on the computing power and, of course, the data and smart algorithm of which is being tuned every day after day. So the smart algorithm of processing this data, reinforcement, for example, learning. There's a lot of learning curve which is happening into the AI. You have to feed it correctly in order to give you a real results. So algorithm is becoming a very, very smart day after day, because this is there the technologies has been lying behind. And right now we cannot mimic. They're saying that somehow they managed to mimic human brains from the AI perspective, but that's not the case. But the case is how fast I can tune the neural network in order to facilitate my results, which I'm looking from the perspective of analysis. So more on probability perspective. So applied AI, of course, is focusing on deep learning, neural network, reinforcement learning, and machine learning. These technologies are there to generate smart algorithms in order to set on big data to generate for you a lot of value-added information. Let's look to some of the business cases. Oman, of course, Data Park HPC platform is being strategically set to help different sectors: retail, customer services, marketing. Of course, most important is the healthcare is on board as well. And here we are showing some of the applications which can be used for healthcare. Now, healthcare can use the AI in many ways. Okay, let's put high availability of medical record. You see, there is a lot of data of historical of the medical. What are I supposed to do with this data? Can I unwind huge data for the power of the diagnosis? Can I put a cognitive thinking here for the technologies to add value from this data? You are an ocean of the data, but you don't know how to consume it. Here comes the HPC. So we are saying, Oman Data Park saying, listen, you don't need to go and acquire such a huge technology. You come in, take the services in our infrastructure and consume your data in a way of smart thinking and smart development of the smart algorithms and use it. So here, development of complex algorithm and high dimensional, they are multi-dimensional of the data in characters towards thousands of attributes of correlation of this information within the medical reports. Now, another case, AI mainly for MRI. You know, MRIs, MIT, I was doing research last night. They have built this technology on 7,000 MRI scans. They fed it to this AI engine in order to facilitate through the neural network. And they found the normal process which is required for each MRI between 4 to 7 hours, which is human-based, okay? But once they put it on AI, they saying it's a seconds. So they can scan thousands and thousands of MRI record on daily basis. This is right now live and running. Even there are a couple of cases around there. Another one, of course, smart watch, for example. Everybody maybe know about it, and you can use it. So you put it on your hand. It generates thousands of informations. It monitors your heart rate. It monitors your sleeping time. It monitors even your lifestyle, BP, and predicts risk of disease attack. You know, there's heart attacks which is happening cases. There's this information goes into the back-end systems, and then you for sudden you'll get an email alert. Be careful, stop eating sugar, something like this, or you have to do exercise, and it's giving you also some kind of advices to take care of your lifestyle. So from where it comes this? This comes from the AI engine. Now another one is medical assistance, where there's applications running behind, the virtual nurses sitting there, and there's natural languages processing, like start chatting and speaking to this application and virtual nurse, and she's communicating with you. So there's a self-care information is there, clinical advice is there, scheduling an appointment is there. So these applications can be consumed and operate on Oman Data Park platforms. Of course, I was surprised to see this even in my research. There's a surgical reports to minimize the surgery error, and it's been educated, it's been fed to this robot in order to assist the surgeons to do more accurate operation and surgery to the patient, and it's running in real time, side by side with the doctors. And this is now has been very much empowered in USA. I have seen there's a lot of records coming from MIT as well on this particularly the technology. Now, inspection of cancer cells. There is another way that feeding the neural network in two data sets. Okay, one is the cells affected with the cancer. Another one, of course, is cure. And both systems, when you take the medical test, and immediately it can feed you. Doesn't need an hours and hours to do what's called inspection and diagnose. It is giving you in very fast manner. This is also another case I have found it. Now there are many use cases. I don't want to take the time. Mainly protecting these days COVID, the temperature of the body. You can put cameras around many places, and it can inform the security. There's a guy has been infected with this temperature is high. There's another case, doctors, whether they're wearing the mask and all the precautions coverage which is required across the operations. There is also another one is feeding the API environment to take a lot of information from the relevant data sets with the NLP and sends information external in bidirectional to the application program interface to do the diagnosis, and as well as automate the isolated patients. This is very, very important application. I have seen it is effectively used as a service. There's also another kind of scanning, what's called the different types. So from MRI to the even bone tumor, and also here is ultrasound scanning, and all of these information has been fed to the AI applications, and they facilitate the results on very fast. No need doctors to wait for the lab to come. It's real time, can see the informations and reports. Immune system examination as well. That is a real case as well. And patients proofing as well is a lot of analytical and information processing it can be achieved from AI. So messages here, the big data is all around, but how you can consume it, how you can fast that process, and more comes in neural thinking and fast algorithm, smart algorithm. Here you need a very sophisticated platform. You don't need to capitalize on that hardware. You don't need to capitalize on that technology and setup. You just come and put your application and consume it. Here, Oman Data Park is offering that. Of course, you have maybe 1,000 of information, so you need also to feed this in, to digitalize that documents and records as well. Smart email analyzing, you can facilitate which emails is important. No one can sit and read 1,000 of email, perhaps if not a million. Which important, which is not important. So here you can facilitate also that one as well. The intelligent chatbot, can be, as I said, virtual nurses. One of them, the cases here, and virtual also. All centers can be also what's called modelized, that is in a way that the patient can communicate with the AI. Well, finally, I'm coming to the end now. Ecosystem is there, and you have to look yourself as a healthcare, how I can fit myself. And there's two ways. Number one, I have a lot of data and how I can consume this data, and how AI can help me, and cloud transformation can help me. That's one angle. A second angle, how I can interlink even my application with others. So healthcare cannot run in isolation. It has to be linked with many other sectors. For example, it needs to communicate with the government, it needs to communicate with other healthcare across the world. I don't know. There's a lot of way to integrate. So there's a lot of ecosystems is growing and exploring across this time now. And it's very important to consider cloud is the only, perhaps is not, I'm saying only because it is being transformed now, is the only choice at this moment to give you this full-fledged of eco environment. Of course, there are many international data center and cloud service providers, but other advantages of Oman Data Park, I already highlighted. Your data is your assets, it's locked into Oman, it's not being spread across. Nobody's touching your data, and fully compliant to the regulators. And we are the one only offering the managed services in Oman, particularly versus the international cloud provider. Thank you very much. I hope that was informative. And if you have any question, please send to us an email and we can answer you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan, for your presentation. For all the attendees, if you have any questions, please do ask Mr. Hassan, and we will get your answers soon. Thank you, Mr. Hassan.